Stuck in Vermont.
I like the walleyes because they're a delicacy. Everybody loves the walleyes because they're a delicacy.
Welcome to Stuck in Vermont, brought to you by 7 Days. My name's Ava Solberger. We're here in St Albans at Bob Sampson's farm. Today, the Lake Champlain Walleye Association is joining forces with Vermont Fish and Wildlife to try and increase the walleye population. Walleye! And no, I don't mean walleye, I mean walleye fish. Apparently they're very tasty. I've never had one because if you want to eat one, you have to catch it.
Well, it's a game fish, so you can't buy it in restaurants now.
For 20 years now, the Lake Champlain Walleye Association has been doing everything they can to increase the walleye population. And finally, it's paying off. Today, 12,500 little fingerling walleye were pulled out of these little ponds here, and they're going to be released into the Winooski River.
What is it about trout? What is it about salmon? You know, everybody's got a different thing that they like to fish for.
The walleyes are their own worst enemy because they taste too good. It's the table value.
They're the best tasting freshwater fish probably there is.
Nobody seems to want to throw them back.
People like catching them, they like eating them.
Consistency, the taste is different, but the consistency is like cod or pollock. Big, white, flaky.
Walleye anglers are very passionate about what they do.
They're hardcore fishermen. These guys are the
Real big tradition, especially in Vermont. Opening weekend of walleye season on most of the rivers, most of the big tributaries of Lake Champlain is a big event.
walleye fishing is a real challenge. It's hard to recognize the bite on a walleye. And the hardcore fisherman, he understands that. And he knows how to catch them, and he makes a lot of people jealous. Back in the 60s, when we had a 10 fish limit, you could catch 10 fish. And it was unbelievable walleye fishing. And we lost it.
A lot of it is loss of spawning habitat in the rivers. Overfishing was an issue.
As the populations depleted, people kind of said, hey, are we going to do something about this, or are we going to wait 20 years from now and say, hey, we should have?
That's kind of what spurred on the partnership between Vermont Fish and Wildlife Department and the Walleye Association.
Now we're trying to bring them back so we can take our children out and catch them.
We're harvesting a Lake Champlain Walleye Association pond. It's a big event usually locally here. People love to see the walleye go back into the lake.
I live in California, and we can't do this in California, so it's like a really big thing for me.
We spawn the adult fish, we collect the eggs, we incubate the eggs, we hatch the fish out. I brought the fry over here for these ponds in late May.
We can corral a fish into the tank and scoop them out, get them in the tank so that they're marking them now.
It's a monitoring tool that's used, the marking is for the biologists to see what kind of contribution the hatchery fish are having.
We've had real good success with the return on the river back and forth.
An 1.5-inch fish 20 years from now could be approaching 30 inches.
It's our 20th anniversary. So the organization started by a group of fishermen who saw the decline of walleyes. They were declining rapidly.
Spend our time raising money and building ponds and stocking fish.
Year after year on a volunteer basis it's an amazing amount of work that's put in.
Fruits of our volunteer help here are beginning to show in the rivers too.
I believe it's important to give something back to the sport that you believe in.
And we are going to show the state the results of all our work. The fish are showing up. It's going to bring a tremendous amount of people to this state, and I want to fish walleyes.
That's what we're about.
How do I feel about fishing? Oh, I think it's the greatest pastime in the whole world.
You can do it alone, you can do it with a group.
And it starts with my family, my wife, my kids, all fished with me and still do.
I love fishing just to get outside. I like to take my son.
It's something you can do without a big investment.
My dad did it with me growing up every weekend, so
you can do it from a big boat, a little boat, the shore, off a bridge.
It's quiet, it's peaceful.
You can do it 24 hours a day.
Or it can be a whole group activity, fish in the wintertime, ice fishing.
It's always been number one in my book.
Champlain's a real wonderful resource for the state of Vermont.
Crown jewel of the Northeast, it's the 6th largest freshwater lake in the country.
A lot of the interest in Lake Champlain is fishing related. And fishing brings a lot of people to the state to see the lake.
I just want to see it like it was when I was younger.
I think the more people get out on the lake, spend time fishing, boating, anything else. They're going to appreciate it and want to protect it.
But do I believe? I believe we can clean up Lake Champlain.
With the quadricentennial coming up, celebrating 400 years since the discovery of this lake, it's nice to know that there will be walleye in this lake for a good time to come. We'll get stuck with you again real soon.
This one here.
Oh, wow.
He's been a cannibal right from when he was put into the pond.
How can you tell?
Well, look at his size compared to these smaller ones. This fish is the same age as this one, but this fish has been eating other fish for the past 4 weeks, whereas this one has been eating plankton.